Close your eyes and imagine it, the late 19th century, a time of innovation, wonder, and rapid change. Cities were electrifying, the first automobiles were appearing, and the skies were still a realm of mystery, untouched by human invention. But then, something strange happened. In the final months of 1896 and the early days of 1897, people across America began reporting sightings of an extraordinary phenomenon, a mysterious airship, unlike anything the world had seen, traversing the skies. Was it a product of secret technology, a hoax, or something even more unexplainable? This is the story of the Great Airship Sightings. It all began in Sacramento, California, on the night of November 17, 1896. Witnesses described a large, elongated object, brilliantly illuminated and moving steadily across the sky. Some claimed it had wings, while others described it as a cigar-shaped craft with a bright line at its front. One observer even reported hearing voices coming from the airship, as if its operators were communicating in a language he couldn't understand. Within days, similar sightings were being reported in nearby towns, spreading like wildfire across the state. What made these sightings so compelling was their consistency. Reports poured in from cities and rural areas alike, each describing a similar craft, metallic, sleek, and glowing. Some witnesses claimed to see propellers or engines, while others described occupants, human-like figures operating the strange vessel. In one account, a man claimed the airship's crew landed near his property and asked for water to fuel their craft, speaking English but refusing to reveal their identities. As 1896 turned into 1897, the phenomenon moved eastward, with sightings reported in states like Nebraska, Iowa, and Texas. Each report added to the intrigue. In Omaha, Nebraska, a group of witnesses saw an airship equipped with colored lights that hovered for several minutes before disappearing. In Dallas, Texas, a farmer claimed to find a strange metallic object in his field after a sighting, though it mysteriously vanished before investigators arrived. The media quickly latched onto the story, turning the airship sightings into a nationwide sensation. Newspapers published detailed accounts from witnesses, along with speculative editorials debating the origin of the mysterious craft. Some writers suggested it was the work of a brilliant but secretive inventor, possibly even Thomas Edison or Nikola Tesla. Others believed it was a hoax orchestrated by pranksters or an early example of mass hysteria. And then there were those who whispered about extraterrestrial visitors, decades before the modern UFO phenomenon took root. But what could explain these sightings? Some historians argue that the Great Airship Sightings were a product of the year's technological optimism. The 1890s were a time of rapid innovation, with groundbreaking inventions like the telephone, electric light, and internal combustion engine reshaping daily life. The idea of a flying machine seemed plausible, even inevitable, and the public's imagination was primed to accept such reports as credible. Others point to the role of the press in shaping the narrative. Sensationalism was rampant in the late 19th century, with newspapers competing for readers by publishing the most outlandish and entertaining stories. It's possible that some reports were exaggerated or entirely fabricated, fueled by the public's appetite for mystery and wonder. But this explanation doesn't account for the sheer volume and consistency of the sightings, many of which came from credible witnesses like police officers, farmers, and even local officials. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Great Airship Sightings is the level of detail in some accounts. In Aurora, Texas, in April 1897, a report claimed that an airship crashed into a windmill on a local farm, killing its pilot. The pilot was described as a small, humanoid figure, and witnesses claimed to have found strange, metallic debris scattered around the crash site. The story was so compelling that it has persisted in local lore, with some residents even erecting a historical marker to commemorate the event. Skeptics, however, argue that these stories are more folklore than fact. The Aurora crash, for example, has been dismissed by many researchers as a hoax, possibly concocted by the town's residents to attract attention and tourism. Similarly, some sightings could be explained by misidentified celestial phenomena, like Venus or meteors, or by experimental balloons being tested by inventors of the time. But even these explanations leave gaps, particularly when it comes to the descriptions of humanoid occupants and advanced technology. Could the Great Airship Sightings have been an early encounter with extraterrestrial visitors? While this idea might seem far-fetched, it's worth noting that many of the details reported in 1896 and 1897 mirror modern UFO sightings: cigar-shaped craft, bright lights, and intelligent operators. If these were indeed extraterrestrial visitors, why were they here? And why did the sightings suddenly stop after 1897, leaving behind only questions and speculation. Another theory suggests that the airships were the work of a lone inventor, a genius working in secret to develop a flying machine years ahead of its time. This idea gained traction with the discovery of early aviation pioneers like Gustav Whitehead and Samuel Langley, who were experimenting with powered flight long before the Wright brothers. But no evidence has ever surfaced to confirm the existence of such a craft in the 1890s, leaving this theory as speculative as the others. The cultural impact of the Great Airship Sightings cannot be overstated. They captured the public's imagination and laid the groundwork for the modern fascination with UFOs and extraterrestrial life. They also reflected the anxieties and aspirations of the time, a period when the boundaries of science and technology were being pushed to their limits. In many ways, the airships were a symbol of the unknown, a metaphor for humanity's relentless quest to explore and understand the universe. The story of the Great Airship Sightings didn't just stay confined to the United States. Tales of mysterious flying crafts began to spread to other parts of the world in the years that followed, though none matched the sheer volume of reports from 1896 and 1897. This international intrigue only deepened the mystery. Were these sightings part of a larger, global phenomenon? Did humanity experience a fleeting glimpse of a world-changing technology or encounter something not of this earth? Let's not forget the human side of this mystery. Imagine being a farmer in rural Texas or a shopkeeper in Sacramento, staring up at the sky and seeing something so beyond comprehension that it challenges everything you know about the world. The awe, the fear, the excitement, it's a snapshot of how humans have always reacted to the unknown. These sightings united people in wonder and speculation, bridging gaps of geography, class, and culture. And what about the purported inventors? Over the years, various individuals have claimed to have been the masterminds behind the airships, only to have their stories debunked or dismissed. Some even sought fame and fortune by peddling tales of their role in the phenomenon. Yet, none could provide the definitive proof that would settle the debate once and for all. The identities of the airship's creators, if they ever existed, remain as elusive as the crafts themselves. Then there are the reports that seem impossible to explain. Witnesses in remote areas who had no contact with the press yet described identical crafts. Observations of maneuvers that defied the capabilities of any known technology of the time. And those tantalizing accounts of humanoid figures, not just operators but beings who seem to be studying, even interacting with humanity. Each story adds another layer to the enigma. What do the Great Airship Sightings teach us about ourselves? They reveal our enduring fascination with the skies, our relentless pursuit of knowledge, and our boundless imagination. They also show how quickly stories can capture the public's imagination and spread, becoming part of our shared cultural heritage. Whether these airships were real or not, they've left an indelible mark on history, inspiring generations of dreamers, inventors, and storytellers. Could the truth of these sightings still be hidden somewhere, locked in forgotten archives or buried in remote locations? It's tantalizing to think that some piece of undeniable evidence might be waiting to be discovered, a key to unlock this century-old enigma. Perhaps a journal from a secretive inventor, or a fragment of an unknown material that defies modern analysis. The possibility keeps this story alive in the hearts of researchers and enthusiasts alike. There's also the question of why the airship sightings ceased so suddenly. Could it be that whoever, or whatever, was responsible for these appearances had achieved their goal? Were they testing technology, observing human behavior, or perhaps even making contact in a way we still don't fully understand? The sudden silence leaves room for endless speculation and fuels the enduring fascination with this mystery. One cannot help but wonder about the broader implications of the Great Airship Sightings. If these crafts were indeed real, they suggest a level of technological advancement far beyond what was publicly known at the time. And if they weren't of this earth, it raises profound questions about humanity's place in the universe. Are we alone, or are there others out there, watching, waiting, and occasionally revealing themselves in fleeting glimpses? It's also fascinating to consider how the Great Airship Sightings influenced later accounts of UFOs and unexplained phenomena. The descriptions of cigar-shaped craft and humanoid occupants became recurring motifs in the decades that followed, suggesting that this event may have shaped the collective consciousness around the idea of extraterrestrial visitors. It's as if the airships of 1896 and 1897 planted the seeds for a narrative that continues to evolve to this day. The skeptics, of course, have their own interpretations. They point to the psychological and sociological factors at play, arguing that the airship sightings were a kind of shared delusion, a reflection of the anxieties and hopes of a rapidly changing world. But even the most skeptical explanations can't erase the sheer number of eyewitness accounts, each contributing to a puzzle that remains unsolved. And what about the government's role in all this? Some conspiracy theorists suggest that there may have been a deliberate effort to suppress information about the airships, either to protect emerging technology or to prevent public panic. While there's no concrete evidence to support these claims, the mere possibility adds another layer of intrigue to an already complex story. It's worth noting that the Great Airship Sightings occurred during a time of significant geopolitical tension. Could these mysterious crafts have been early prototypes of surveillance technology, developed in secret by rival nations? While this theory is intriguing, it doesn't align with the accounts of advanced capabilities and humanoid operators, which seem to defy the technological limits of the era. Despite the many theories and explanations, the Great Airship Sightings remain an enigma. They occupy a unique space in the annals of unexplained phenomena, a story that is both rooted in its historical context and timeless in its appeal. They remind us that the world is full of mysteries, some of which may never be fully understood, but continue to inspire curiosity and wonder. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about the Great Airship Sightings of 1896 and 1897? Were they real, imagined, or something in between? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating videos.